Hi everybody, this is Kip from the Twelton Public Library. I have a quandary today. I'd really like to do a craft with shapes, but I can't decide whether I like squares or triangles better. Maybe I need to get some help. Alright guys, I need you to make a decision for me, okay? Which do you like better? A square or a triangle? Seems I'm not going to get any help here. That didn't solve anything. Oh well, maybe we should just make something with both squares and triangles. Oh, I know. We'll make a really cool shape today out of paper using squares and triangles. It could be used for all kinds of things. Let's get started. To begin this project, you're going to need squares cardstock. I used origami paper just because that's what I had on hand, but it's going to be too floppy, really. And then you're going to use a ruler, pencil, some scissors, and some tape. Now first we're going to cut our squares down so that we have flaps that we can fold over. That's how we're going to attach our shapes together. We're going to be doing a shape that uses 18 squares and 8 triangles. So to start off with the squares, we're just going to measure in about a 1/2 inch on each side and draw a line. The nice thing with these shapes is, well, they are a little neater if you can manage to keep all your lines straight. They can be adjusted, so it's not entirely important that everything is super straight. Now once you have your lines all done, what you're going to do is you're going to cut off the corners of each of these. And what this is going to do is create a flap that we will use to fold inward, and that is where we will tape together our shapes. Now for the triangle, it's a little more involved because we need an equilateral triangle that will fit into the base of the squares. So again, we're going to measure 1/2 inch up and have a line there. We're going to put a 1/2 inch dot in on each side. Then we're going to calculate where the middle is by measuring out and doing the calculations there. Once we have that, we're going to an inch down, and then we're going to connect our dots and we'll have our triangle. Last step is just to make a line that's 1 inch away from that on those two sides. Then we're going to cut it out, and instead of cutting the corners off, we're going to cut straight across in order for us to get our flaps. You'll see that I can fold it here, and we'll fold it back in. There we go. Now that we have our shapes all done, folded in, we're going to start with 5 squares. We're going to do this in a cross pattern, and we're going to turn them over, and we're going to tape them in the flaps to each other. Just so you know, the shape that we are creating is officially known as a rhombicuboctahedron. Rhombicuboctahedron. That's a hard thing to say. When you're taping, make sure you tape all the way across. It will help with the stability. And you'll have a little bit of a flap. It won't be as bad with the cardstock, but that's kind of what you should see when you're done. Then in each of the spaces, we're going to put in triangles. And this will start with our curve of our shape. This is going to look a little bit like a dodecahedron, except for the dodecahedron is made entirely of triangles. The cool thing about geometry is you can put triangles and squares together in all kinds of configurations and end up with all kinds of fun little shapes. Now these were fun to make just in and of themselves, but one thing you can do with them is you can use them to wrap Christmas presents. They look really, really cool. Or you can make sort of a decision die, which is what I ended up making mine as. You'll see that in the end. Oh, see, you can kind of see the shape forming in the top. And then next we'll be doing our middle layer. And for the middle layer, we're just going to put squares all around. And once we have those taped to the shape, then we'll tape them to each other, and that essentially creates the middle layer of our shape. Once you have them together, it will start to feel a little bit more stable. The last square you put in is going to be a little difficult. At that point, you're going to have to use like either double-sided tape or rolled over tape to tape down the last 3 sides, just because you can't reach into the middle of the shape. But to shorten the video a little bit, I'll just let you know that after this round, you do the same as you did before, which would be alternating squares and triangles in the next layer to tape together, and then the last one will be a square on top. And you'll see a little bit what it looks like. It's a little floppy again with the paper. I wouldn't necessarily recommend straight up paper for this. You'll also see the decision that I made. I decided to make mine as a gratitude die. There you go. Well, that was very involved, but the end result is really, really cute. You could use it for packages, for presents, or in my case, since I can't decide very well, I'm going to write in some things and roll to see what I have decided. This is Kit from the Tualatin Public Library, hoping you have a great holiday season. No.